What's everybody? What's up, everybody? Austin Practical Performance, coming at you live. Today, we're going to talk about some tips I have for parents and other people. It doesn't have to be just for parents, but parents specifically, for getting your workouts in, starting your fitness journey, being on top of your shit when it comes to your workouts and your nutrition and things like that. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Basically, you know, parenting. I'm a parent. I have a 2-year-old. He is an extreme handful and super full of energy. And a lot of you might not know this, but I was a stay-at-home dad for about 6 months. And during that time, working out was definitely difficult, but not impossible by any means whatsoever. Comes back to, forming those good habits and things like that, but that can be hard whenever you first start out. And so there's some tips that I have for, new parents who have babies or toddlers or whatever. And for parents, it's even easier if you've got, older kids, because you don't have to be there like, coddling them the whole time, make sure they don't, hurt themselves. So, yeah. So basically, my first tip is go to bed earlier. That whole phrase like early to bed, early to rise holds very true. If you go to bed earlier, that's going to lead up to this next tip that will allow you to get up earlier. Wake up before your kids wake up. If you wake up before your kids wake up, you can work out from home. You can work out in your living room. You could, if you have a spouse or whatever that's there, you can go to the gym while everybody's sleeping and work out if you don't want to work out from home. And just wake up earlier and go. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. It's just a matter of how you use it. You just need to be a little bit smarter about how you use it and plan ahead and do that. Also, a lot of times, gyms have daycares. That's another option. Not right now during quarantine, obviously, but once things kind of get a little less crazy, you can always take your kid. Almost all gyms at this point have daycares at them, and sometimes you go there and they're full. And right now you can't even do that because of COVID and all that. But there were times whenever I would go to the gym, I'd get all my shit together, pack up the baby diaper bag and everything, get everything together, go to the gym, and they'd be like, "We're full. We don't have any space. All the kids are. There's no space for the kids in that section." And I was like, "Well, shit. Go home, get my workout in anyways. Work out from home. Something is better than nothing." And that's one of the key things is like being adaptable. Like you have to be adaptable when it comes to your workouts. With your workouts, your nutrition, whatever it is, having a kid adds a whole other layer of like, difficulty to like most things in life. Just because you can't just like think about just yourself and you got to go, you have to make it fit your schedule. So you either do it whenever the kid isn't necessarily in your schedule, like in the mornings or in the evenings or, whenever they're napping kind of thing. And so that was going to be my next tip is work out what your kids are eating. Like just because they're eating doesn't mean you have to eat. And especially if they're old enough to feed themselves, you put food in front of them as long as you're close enough by to make sure they're not choking on anything. You can work out right there with them while they're eating and doing whatever. So work out what your kids are eating. If they're younger, you can still do it. Just put some food on their plate or their high chair or whatever. Work out next to the high chair. There are plenty of videos out there of me online, like literally sitting there in front of my sitting there while my kid's in his high chair having a good old time eating some applesauce or something, and I'm just sitting there pumping out some bicep curls. It's just one of those things where you just have to get in the habit of doing these things and actively trying to do these things whenever you have those opportunities like that. Because a lot of times they are far and few between whenever you have kids. So work out while they eat. Another thing that you can do, like work out with them. If your kids are older, especially if your kids are older, like it's way easier because they can go do their own freaking thing, and you got plenty of time if you're still a stay-at-home mom or dad, parent in general. And so like if your kid is old enough to work out with you, awesome. Work out together. Make it a family event. It's okay for kids to work out. It's just play. As long as they're doing it safely and they're not really incorporating too much like heavy weights or anything like that, like it's fine. Like that's literally just what play is for kids, is like they're doing that shit anyways. May as well do it with you, so that way you can get your ass to do it too. So, like, so, work out with them. If they're a little like baby or toddler or whatever, like, you can strap them to you as long as you're being safe and you're not doing anything stupid or crazy like cartwheels or something. Like, you can, have a baby holder and work out still. Like, again, that's the shit I would do whenever my kid was younger, in order to get my workouts in. It's, a matter of being adaptive and creative and, wanting it bad enough to actually do it. Because it really is very doable. You don't have to work out for an hour a day at home and do some crazy shit. Something is better than nothing. Like, you can have a pretty decent workout for depending on what your goals are, 15-20 minutes. That's all it takes. Really, as long as you're being good with your time, that's really all it has to take sometimes. And there are plenty of times when I had my kid and I was just sitting there doing shoulder presses with my child and doing bench presses with him and holding him and doing squats. Like, it's again, just comes back to being creative and adapting. And that's just something else that you do, is work out with your kids. If they are a little bit older, they're going to love it. They're going to think it's really fun. Like, it's a new thing that they will probably really enjoy. Like, I made my kid a little tiny mini dumbbell set that he can curl with, whenever I'm working out from home. It's kind of fun. It's really cute. I really like it. He enjoys it too. And it's, setting him up for success. If it's something that he's interested in when he's older, he's going to know how to do that shit from a younger age. So that way it's not like a hard thing for him when he's an adult. So yeah. The other thing I was going to say is, like, I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, work out while your kid is napping. Like, when your child is napping, like, yeah, take the time to do whatever household chores you need to do really quick. But, work out while they're napping. That's like some free time for you to, relax, get your workout in, feel better, give yourself a chance to catch your breath, get, more energized and things like that. Like, that's something, like, when your kids are napping, it's workout time. That, especially for me, whenever it happens, like, it's workout time, whether I'm at home or if it's on the weekend, and and my fiance is like, at home, as soon as that kid goes to bed, she knows. See ya, Austin. Like, it's workout time. I know. Like, I'm out of there. Like, it's time to get my workout in as quickly as possible so I can get back home and be ready to help out once he wakes up. The other thing, like I said, if you work out, if you can wake up before they get up for bed or get up in the morning and work out, or you can do it after they go to bed, especially if they're younger. A lot of kids, like, they go to bed at like shit, like between like 6 and 8 p.m. You telling me that after 6 p.m. you're like all out of gas and all that juice? I understand. Like, trust me, I was a stay-at-home dad for like 6 months. Like, I understand how, like, tiring and exhausting and frustrating it can be, and how, like, how burnt out you can feel. But you take it from me, I never regretted working out after a long day. I've never regretted doing it. I've never been like, man, I wish I wouldn't have done that. I always feel a lot better afterwards, because you get the blood flowing. You feel like you accomplished something. You're like, I did it. Check that off my list. I feel accomplished. That's what it feels like, whenever you do that. Like, so, you work out after you put your kid to bed, that sort of thing. Have your partner watch them. If you are fortunate enough to be in a relationship, like, and you're not a single parent, ask your significant other to watch your child. Like, you can go halvesies. Like, they watch them for a little bit while you work out, and then you watch them for a little bit while you work out. Like, work with each other, help each other out, like that kind of thing. Like, that's something that goes overlooked. And I just want to say, like, if you've got somebody who, is not willing to, like, give you, like, if you're with somebody that's not willing to give you like 15-20 minutes, half hour to work out and work on yourself because they don't want to watch the kid, that's a red flag right there anyways. But we won't go into that. But that's just something I just had to kind of say, because I have people sometimes message me and they're like, oh, my spouse isn't supportive and isn't, like, I don't have time to work out because they won't watch the kid. And it's like, well, your spouse kind of sucks. I'm just saying, if that's the case, if your significant other won't give you some time to work on yourself if it's really important to you, kind of sucks. So if that's an option, go for it. If not, sorry. Another option though, if you live around, family or, friends, find like a babysitter, like a free babysitter. Like grandparents are great. Grandparents love hanging out with their grandchildren. Take your kid over to grandma and grandpa's and go work out. Take them over to your, sister or brother if they're close by and they like kids. Like, find family members or close friends that, are willing to help you out so you can go get your gym on. It's simple as that. Like, just making, like finding that it's just a matter of like finding the time. Like everybody has the same amount of time in the day. You have time. If you're telling yourself, I don't have time to do this, like I just don't have time. The only thing I can think of where you literally don't have enough time to do that is if you're working like 2 or 3 jobs and you're literally never giving yourself any time to breathe. You're only sleeping like, 5 or 6 hours a night, like that kind of crazy shit. Like that's fine. I respect that. But like, one, you're gonna get burnt out and you need to prioritize your health if that's what you're doing right now. The other thing though is like, you can't tell me that you don't have time to work out. Like it's a matter of you not making it a priority. Because once people start making things a priority, whether that be hobby, school, TV or whatever, like all of a sudden, once you start making something a priority, you start having you start finding a lot more time, a lot easier for that thing. So that same thing goes for your workouts and for your nutrition. The next thing I was gonna say, substitute activities, like even if it's not, you're not like pumping iron, lifting weights, doing some crazy calisthenics or whatever, substitute, TV time, like sitting down and doing arts and crafts, substitute whatever for playing outside, going for walks, going for jogs with your kids, riding bikes, blah, 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 go for a hike or whatever. Like substitute, less, inactive activities for more active ones where you're outside and doing things, because that's just a great way. Like I've got several clients that have like a couple of kids, and something that they find that they enjoy as a family is going on hikes and walks. And you know what that does? One, it improves your cardio, and two, you're going to burn some calories. You're going to feel good. You can count that as a workout. And so, yeah. But honestly, like, I mean, all in all, like, I know I said, like, like anybody can find time, like, in the day to work out. Because it's true, you can. Like, if you're saying that you can't, like, you need to, look back through your day and be like, and try and pinpoint, like, if you can't pinpoint a single time that you couldn't work out, like, we'll leave it at that. But don't beat yourself up if you don't get a workout in. Don't beat yourself up. Don't try and make yourself feel bad or guilty or whatever. Like, hold yourself accountable and take ownership, but in a positive way, and say, because sometimes shit happens. Like there are times when I took my kid to the gym and he had a giant diaper blowout and he shit all over himself, and it was like, all right, well, what am I gonna do now? I have to go take my kid back home and change him. I'm not going to be covered in shit in daycare. Like, it's just one of those things where it's like, sometimes things happen and it gets in the way, and you adapt and you either work through it and you kill it the next day, or you don't, and it's it's fine. You just chalk it up to a loss and you're going to get them the next time. It's one of those things where it doesn't do you any good to beat yourself up about things and to like have negative self-talk about yourself and like trash yourself just because you missed a workout. Like, some days you're just not going to have it in you, and that's okay. But the days that you do have it in you, you need to take advantage of those, because, those, once you start, doing that and building that momentum and getting in the swing of things, you're going to have a lot more success in terms of, not falling off as often. So, yeah, so those are my tips for parents who are busy and for people in general who are busy. It's just a good, this is a good talk for you in general in terms of just being adaptive and, working to, find the time in your day to make it a priority so that we can get workouts in. So that's my live for today. Austin Prechtel, Prechtel Elevate Performance. If you enjoyed this live, put hashtag replay. Tell me your #1 takeaway if you're watching this at a later time. I'll talk to you guys later. See you tomorrow.